guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions, and yep, we are here for week number 135. So if you watch my channel, you will know that we are doing reruns. So I'm rerunning week number 35. So we are week 135, rerunning week 35. So what we're making today is floating pockets. So let me just move some of the things out of the way that I've been doing over the weekend. We are making floating pockets. So if you want to make along, you're going to need a bunch of papers. Now, obviously the floating pockets, they tend to be bigger. So you're going to need kind of, well, depending on the size pockets that you want to make, I would say bigger than scraps, if you see what I mean. So I have just obviously printed off a bunch of, you know, papers that I'm going to use for this. You don't have to use complete papers, but yeah, you're going to want bigger than teeny weeny bits. I mean, I've got here, for instance, this is, well, it's not really a scrap, but you know, it's like, well, it looks around about A5 size. So I could get a floating pocket from this, if that makes sense. You know, it's just going to depend how big you want your pockets. This is probably as small as you want to go. So A5, over here in the UK, A4 is kind of like, you know, a bit like the American standard letter type size. A5 would be half of that. So that's the kind of smallest size that I personally would make these from. But of course, you know, make them kind of how you fancy. I mean, a lot of people make smaller journals, in which case, of course, you know, you're going to have more need for smaller pockets. So yeah, just kind of make them how you know, how you fancy. So you're going to need papers, you're going to need some glue, you're going to need some scissors, and then you're going to need either a bone folder, or you can use obviously your scissor handles for just squishing your pieces down. You may want to have some ink with a blendy tool, and then you may or may not want to decorate the fronts of your, or you know, the fronts and the backs because they're floating. You know, completely and utterly up to you. I personally don't measure, so, you know, I don't require kind of a ruler or anything like that. And I don't use a paper cutter, I just use my scissors. So again, obviously, you know, alter this to suit your style. So if you like to use a paper cutter, that would be fine. If you like to use a ruler, that would also be fine. Just, you know, tailor it to kind of how you like to do your pieces. The only other thing that you might need is, you know, something like a glue spreader for, you know, if you wanted to kind of put flat things down. And maybe like a wipe or something to, you know, get rid of any excess glue. I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's it. So let's get making and just kind of have a play around. So I'm going to just take the first piece. Now, the only other thing that I would say is personally for these types of things, I would use thicker paper. So this, for instance, here, this is, I think this is 180 GSM, or it could be 200 GSM. So it's substantially thicker than copy paper. Of course, you could use copy paper if you want. Personally, I shy away from things like copy paper for, you know, things like pockets because I'm quite clumsy and likely to tear them. But of course, again, you know, do your, you know, your style. So if you are much less clumsy than me, you may be fine doing your pockets with copy paper. You know, just kind of tailor them and do them how you best, you know, find suits your style and, you know, what you're using them for. So, you know, depending on the type of journal that you're making may depend on the thickness of the paper that you want to do. Now, again, please ignore the fact that this has got this huge, great big border on the side. I've talked about this before. I think it's when my printer needs the print heads cleaning, but of course I still haven't done that. It just whips the paper through. So, you know, it started out, I put it to borderless and I got this one, which was perfectly borderless. By the second one, it just whipped the paper through and cut off a chunk. So I've got all variety, some with borders and some, or, you know, a weird border and some with none. It just, my printer just, you know, suits itself and does what it likes, but that's fine. I don't mind. So I'm going to cut this piece off in the first instance, like that. Okay. And then personally, all I'm going to do is, you know, fold my piece in half to make my floating pocket. So like that. And then I'm just going to squish this down here. Again, you know, I'm just using my scissor handle. It's just kind of handy. They're here. They're, you know, they're perfectly fine to use. So this is as tall as a page currently. So what I'm going to do is make my kind of what I would call like gussets in the side, which will obviously bring it down in terms of height. So all I do for that is just cut some triangles like that and like that, sort of as if you're making a tag really. And that's top and bottom like that and like that. Okay. And again, you know, we're not striving for perfection here. So, I mean, you know, if you kind of have a triangle slightly bigger than the other, don't worry too much. It's all going to be fine. So that's what you will end up with is, you know, this weird kind of shaped piece. Then you're going to open it out. Please excuse the inside. This was obviously leftovers from my Christmas project that we were working on. So all I'm going to do then is take this, where I've cut the triangles, and fold this up into itself, and the same with the one next to it, and then exactly the same with the top ones. So just to make it easier, I'm going to turn it over like that, you know, turn it upside down so that I can get to these triangles nicely like that. Okay, like that. And then all you're going to do is fold your piece back over. And at this point, you can obviously squish them down. I mean, you could have squished them down individually, but I think, you know, you might as well save a bit of time and just press it down together like that. Okay, and this is the point where you can then check that your pieces are, you know, meeting nicely. If they're not, obviously you can just adjust your folds and kind of fold it in a little bit more, or, you know, a bit less, however you need to do it. So I have not made a great job of that. You can probably see it's a little bit kind of off to the side. That's fine. I think what I'm going to do is actually just trim it down here on the edge, because it could be actually that my edge piece is not particularly straight. So just going like that. Okay. And that gives me a better sort of shaped pocket. And that's literally all there is to this. And then all you're going to do is glue your flaps together. So like that. I don't think probably you need to glue both sides. I've done that for kind of extra glue. But yeah, I don't think you need to do extra. So like that, okay. And then just press that in. And then again, take your wipe, whatever I've done with my wipe. So, yep, take your wipe, squish it down like that. And that is literally it. And what it gives you is this really super roomy pocket that you can then move around in your journals. Now, I'm calling these floating pockets. Of course, they don't have to be floating. You could glue these onto a page, you know, completely and utterly up to you, obviously, how you use these. I just think these are quite nice to have as floating pockets, particularly, you know, if you've used a nice decorative paper, you've got a pretty side either side, you know, they're nice and roomy, and you can, yeah, just kind of paper clip them in wherever you like throughout your journal. So that is all there is to those. So I'm just going to put these to one side as I make them. So I'll do another one just to kind of demonstrate further. And this time I think what we'll do, we'll try and make it without cutting those little triangles and see whether that works better. Because again, sometimes, you know, it's nice to just experiment and find if there's a better way to do things. So I've always done them like this, but I think you could possibly kind of adjust that. So let's try here. So that paper, by the way, was from my Victorian Springtime kit. So, and this one here is from the Cambridge Garden kit. Okay. So again, we've just cut that border off. And again, just going to cut this straight in half like that. Okay. And again, just squish that down with my scissor handles. Now this time what I'm going to do, instead of cutting where we cut here the triangles, I'm going to just try and see whether this works better. So just cutting the entire folding the entire strip like that, squish that down because I'm just wondering whether this might be easier to do and actually faster. So, and again, fold this top flap down, top, bottom, you know, whichever. So like that. And you could obviously, you could use scrapbook paper for this. You know, obviously I've got a lot of, you know, digital papers and things, but yeah, if you prefer to use scrapbook paper, that would be fine too. So that's that piece. And then if I open these now, I could just cut my triangles here like that. Okay, and then this side like that. And like that. Okay, get rid of those triangles from here. And then what you've got is obviously your pocket gussets that then you can glue in. I mean, I just thought, well, actually that might be a quicker and easier way to do it. So yeah, I think either work fine. You know, just depends which method you would get on better with. This maybe is quicker. It's got to be said, which, you know, sometimes it's just about finding the thing that you like to work with best or that suits you best. And sometimes it's about, you know, what's going to be fastest. So yeah, I think this definitely is probably faster. You know, but yeah, completely up to you. Don't think really, you know, there's much in it. And, you know, you might just find that one method is better and you get on better with one method than the other. So like that. And then again, I can just trim this down on the side. You know, if I decide, oh, my pocket's perhaps a little bit too wide or something, I can just go in and just trim that straight down on the side like that. And that's it. That is my pocket. Now, obviously, you can now put thumb holes in or something if you want to do that. I personally don't want to put thumb holes in, I think. You know, it's a bit of a sweeping statement, but yeah, I don't think I do, because I will probably put lace and things like that down the edge of my pockets. I'm not necessarily saying this piece because it's pretty huge on there, but you know, I'll decorate them up with lace and things like that. I probably won't bother putting thumb holes in these, but of course you could if you wanted to. So yeah, that's pocket number 2. So I probably don't really need to talk you through anymore, because obviously they're pretty straightforward, and you know, I don't want to just bore everyone completely. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk you through obviously the first couple. So I'll be a bit quieter now about the process of what we're doing, and we can just get on and kind of do some mass make ones, and yeah, just kind of have a bit of fun, have a catch up, and see, you know, see how everyone is and things like that. So I will probably do it assembly line style, i.e. cut my borders off, do my folding, and yeah, do my triangles, do my gluing. So yep, they will end up different sizes, like I say, because of course it's going to depend how big my pieces of paper might end up, you know, like here where I've cut the borders off and things like that. But that's good, because hopefully then I will end up with some different size ones to actually be able to show you. I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. My printer's cut off nearly half the page, but yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. So yeah, I will kind of just do them, cutting them down and then folding, and then yeah, hopefully we'll actually have made a lot of these pretty quickly, which would be awesome. So, and just so you know, these 2 here are from my Bird Rhapsody kit, and this is another one from the Victorian Springtime kit there. So, and this one here is another Cambridge Garden. So yeah, okay. So I hope everyone's week has started out well, and I know I say this every single week, so like a scratch record, but yeah, I film these generally on a Monday, so my week has literally only just started, ready to go up obviously on a Tuesday for you guys. So yeah, what have we been up to since last week? Well, what have we been up to? Oh, right, update on the bathroom. If you follow my channel, you may or may not remember that, oh, I'd taken that crazy Cambridge Garden papers, by the way, this is my Butterfly Musing papers. Yes, you may or may not remember, I was doing my bathroom in this very, 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 very bold, some would call stupid choice of, it was actually very dark grey. The colour was called Off Black, so just to give you a clue of just how dark that colour was. Oh, it feels like it's been dragging on for ages now. Again, this is Butterfly Musings. Yeah, it probably has been dragging on for ages, to be honest, but I kept persevering. And this is Myrtle Cottage, these papers. So I kept persevering because I just kept thinking, no, this is, you know, it's going to look really nice. Well, in the end, I have to be honest and say I wasn't so sure it was going to look really nice because, yeah, it was obviously getting darker and darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. And although I was really wanting, and this is the Pink Prairie, wanting to persevere and, you know, go for this dark colour, it has got to be said that, you know, yeah, it was kind of horrifyingly dark. The room is quite dark itself, and actually, as you know, on a whole, I didn't mind that, because sometimes I think you should embrace like the colouring of a room. So, you know, if this is my freebie, by the way, that's, I think this is on the Facebook group, this one, because I think sometimes, you know, because everyone kept saying to me, oh Tina, you know, it's a really dark room, what you need to be doing is kind of brightening it up. And I thought, well, do I? Or actually do, you know, is what I need to do go with the colour of the rim, if that makes sense. So that was what I decided to do. These are my Rose Park papers. So yeah, what I decided to do was obviously embrace the dark and yeah, go with the dark. Because sometimes, you know, I think, well, if a rim's quite dark, then actually going for like pastels, that's just not going to look quite right, is it? So yeah, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to embrace the dark of the rim. Well, I have to say, it kind of came to a point where I thought, oh, I'm not quite sure. And mainly it was obviously when I saw it in not like the dark of night, but you know, like when it gets dusky, so about 6:30, I kind of went in there and I thought, oh, it is really, really, really dark. So at that point, I thought, oh, perhaps everybody's right, you know, much as I didn't want to, you know, backtrack, particularly because by then it was pretty much almost painted. So I'm just going to start folding now. It was pretty much almost painted, and I just thought, oh, what a waste of my time now to have to actually now, you know, start repainting it. So I might just do these slightly smaller, or I might actually even cut in half and do kind of a couple of smaller ones for this actually. So yeah, I didn't really want to kind of have to then start it again with the other colour, you know, or with another colour, particularly because obviously this dark colour is going to take a lot of covering up. But that was obviously what I ended up having to do. So yep, I've decided everyone was right and decided, oh, the dark, it was too dark. So I had some colour left over from my kitchen. Now my kitchen is, I'm going to cut this one in half as well, I think. My kitchen is very, very pale pink. Yeah, very pale pink. So I happen to have some paint left over from the kitchen. And I thought, well, oh, I've got some paint left. Actually, I'll just do one with this. I've got some paint left. Let's just, you know, use the paint I've got left from the kitchen, which is brilliant because, of course, you know, saved me buying more paint. So, yeah, that's what I've decided to do. Obviously, the only thing that's a bit of a pain, I'm going to just take this over so as I make this a slightly slimmer pocket. So I'm just going to cut this edge off. Yeah, the only problem is of course that dark colour. Ooh, it's taking quite a lot of covering up. So very lucky for me is, you know, my middle son, oh, he's just such a good boy. He got in there and he painted over quite a bit of it last night. I had already painted over quite a bit of it during the week. Yeah, a couple of days before, but it needed a second coat. and it needed quite a bit of like cutting in at the top and things like that. So he was so kind. Last night he went in there and he made a start on the second coat and the cutting in. However, because it's obviously taken quite a few coats, we've now run out of paint. I might just make a couple of small ones with this. We've now run out of paint. So yeah, it's just going to be one of those jobs, you know, the ongoing saga of the bathroom. And again, I might just do one for this one. So it's a Laura Ashley paint. So Laura Ashley has closed down now here in this country, but luckily other shops have started taking on their stuff. Now, I don't know whether other shops have actually taken on their paint colours. It's got to be said, I haven't really looked at paint. But I have noticed other shops doing things like their bedding and things. However, I'm going to take it in here. However, yeah, I don't know whether they've actually taken over the paint. So I've decided what I'm going to do is just take it, you know, to that paint mixing service that they do in B&Q and get them to match up the colour and mix me up a bunch of the paint. You know, fingers crossed, hopefully this is going to work. I mean, so far that bathroom has turned out, you know, another one of those projects that you kind of think, oh, why did I start this? To be honest, it just needed a bit of tidying up, and, you know, probably should have just stuck with the colour I'd had in there originally, done a quick coat, and it would have been done and dusted by now. But no, I thought, oh, let's do something different. And of course now it just it's dragged on and it looks horrible, and oh, the whole house is a mess. Because, you know, when you decorate, it just has this habit of spreading throughout the whole rest of the house, doesn't it? So yeah, that's a bit kind of what's been going on. So I'm just folding all these edges down, ready for, you know, like my triangular edges. So, or, you know, those flaps for the gussets. So yeah, it's kind of just been one of those silly jobs that you just think, why did I ever start this? Anyway, so that's that. And then, because the weather has been absolutely gorgeous over here in the UK, I have to say, over the last week. So, of course, it seemed terrible to be just wasting my time inside, you know. So I wanted to get out and do a few things as well in the garden. So I've also managed to get outside and start doing, you know, pulling up a few weeds and gathering a lot of leaves. We have a lot of leaves in our garden, you know, from trees and things. So, yeah, I've been out and, you know, gathered up a lot of leaves and, yeah, just tidying up generally. So that's looking a lot more presentable out there, because it had come to the point, you know, it just looked so messy and untidy. Nobody would even want to sit out there. So, yeah, did that quite a bit at the weekend. So, you know, although the bathroom has been a bit of a nightmare, I have at least made a bit of progress with some other areas, i.e. the garden. So, yeah, that's all good. So that's been the main thing that's been going on. And then once the bathroom's finished, you know, if the bathroom ever gets finished, I feel like it's come to that at the moment. Once the bathroom's finished, then going to tackle my daughter's bedroom. So, and I started talking about this the other day, but yeah, her room is just the filthiest pigsty on the planet, to be honest. You know, just horrible. I don't even look in there. It's like, oh, quickly, you know, hide my eyes. I don't want to see what's going on in that room. You can't even get in there, to be honest, half the time, you know, without like stepping over everything. So I just don't look in there. I just literally don't look in there. But I did mention that a couple of weeks ago, you know, we'd said about decorating her room, because in fairness to her, she's really not got much storage. You know, she's got kind of, you know, like kids' furniture. Like not the biggest wardrobe, not the biggest chest of drawers and all of that kind of thing, which, to be honest, you know, in fairness to her, then her room is going to be a mess, isn't it? Because she's not really got anywhere to put things. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think she is just a messy person, and I suspect her room will still be quite messy, even if she had storage. But I mean, at least she'd have a chance, wouldn't she, of not having quite so much mess. So, yeah, we're going to do her room. So that's hopefully going to be after we've done the bathroom. We're going to kind of get on with her room. We're going to try and look for some you know, bigger wardrobes, maybe those IKEA type ones, you know, the like wardrobe systems that they sell there, because my son has got that in his room, and oh my goodness, they're incredible. They're huge, 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 you know, and everything's contained within them. So she'd be able to just have like shelves in one wardrobe and, you know, one wardrobe door, and then hanging space in the other. And so she would be able to get everything in that wardrobe. So, you know, like as soon as her mess was anywhere, she could just open the cupboard and just chuck it in. I mean, I wouldn't care how messy the wardrobe was, as long as it was there inside the wardrobe and not there all over the floor. So that will be our next job, I think. And then I've got plans as well for my craft space. Now, obviously, you know, as you know, if you watch my channel, you know, recently kind of obviously my husband had moved out. So our divorce has now gone through. However, you know, the finances are far from sorted. So, I mean, we're just fingers crossed that we're going to be able to stay in our house. But obviously, you know, we've got to, yeah, kind of argue that out, I think. So, yeah, unfortunately, the sort of situation there continues, and I suspect will probably continue for some time. But, I mean, it's come to the point where really, you know, the house kind of needs adjusting to meet our different living arrangements, I suppose. You know, obviously my work is spreading all over the whole house. So it's becoming very, very hard to contain it in my little area that I have tried to contain it into, you know, as you know. So, yeah, I kind of then, hopefully I'm going to tackle something up here to try and put some more storage up here and kind of change the use, really. This was always like a family type room, but to be honest, like the boys said, you know, they're bigger now. They don't really come up here now. They used to come up here and play on their Xbox or PlayStation, or I don't even know what it is, one of those things. They don't really do that anymore, to be honest, you know, and so it's just me and my daughter really who come up here. So, I mean, if she had a desk up here instead of her play kitchen, which I've been talking about for about a year now. So hopefully the plan is get rid of her kitchen, get her a desk, you know, maybe get rid of the sofa, because again, nobody obviously sits on that because they don't come up here now. And then I could have storage up here. I feel reluctant to do that because it feels like the end of an era. You know, it feels sad to not have it as our kind of family space now. But, you know, like my sister said, I mean, to be honest, you know, when your family changes, you know, i.e. when the children get bigger and things, you know, you've got to go with how your house needs to be. You know, and I mean, obviously, it kind of, you know, stands to reason that, of course, you know, I don't want to feel indulgent by taking over all the space, you know, with my craft things. But I must view it that this is not just my craft things. I mean, this is how we're paying our bills. So it kind of is a priority space, really, you know, but it feels kind of, yeah, indulgent and greedy, really. But I need to view it as, you know, this is this is an essential kind of space. It's not like a hobby area. It's, you know, it's actually how we're kind of paying for our food and our bills. So yeah, kind of need to adjust it, really. So that's going to be then the next thing after my daughter's room. And then really, I mean, I just pray that we'll be able to stay in our house, because otherwise it will all have been a waste of time anyway doing it. But very much, I mean, the children definitely want to stay here. Of course, I want to stay here. We've been here for 15 years. It is, you know, it's our family home. And yeah, we're going to kind of, yeah, fight to stay here, really. So yeah, hopefully we you know, we will be able to stay here. We'll, you know, we're hoping anyway. So yeah, that's going to be the plan. So loads of house projects, really. You know, lots of tidying up and clearing out is required before any of those jobs really can take place. So yeah, my son has volunteered to do maybe a car boot sale at the weekend if the weather is fine. So this is my middle son, so I said that I would obviously drop him off at the car boot sale, and yeah, he will do the car boot sale, and then I will obviously, you know, nip back down and pick him up, and then he can keep half the money of anything we sell, and I will keep half the money of anything that we sell. And then, you know, whilst he's there, I can obviously be here working, doing a couple of videos, because my daughter will be at her dad's house this weekend. So it would be, you know, a productive Sunday kind of thing. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully if the weather's fine, and hopefully if he doesn't change his mind, because of course, you know, the nearer it gets, he might think, oh, I can't really be bothered to do that. And, you know, that's fine, isn't it? I mean, that's what kids are like. So, you know, and who can blame him? Who can blame him? But yeah, hopefully the lure of some money is kind of winning him over at the moment. So that's the plan. And I said, you know, what we'll do is anything we don't sell that day, we will just go straight via the charity shop and drop anything we've not sold, which will probably be a lot, because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever done a car boot sale, I think, you know, no matter how much you feel like you've sold, when you come to pack up, it's like, oh my goodness, I've still got loads of stuff. So yeah, we will just go straight via the charity shop and, you know, take a lot of things there. I mean, a lot of it is going to be obviously things from my daughter's room. You know, she's already taken her doll's house out. Unfortunately, I've had that listed, you know, and haven't managed to sell that so far, even though I'm really not asking hardly anything for it, you know. So, yeah, and she's now pulled out loads of cuddly toys and things like that she doesn't want anymore. And she's got a lot of clothes that don't fit her. I've got old clothes that don't fit me, or, you know, that I just don't want anymore. So all of those kinds of things, take them all to the car boot sale and try and get rid of them. And, yeah, anything we don't get rid of, you know, I must be good. And instead of trying to hoard things, must just take them straight to the charity shop. So it's very difficult to do that, because I do find myself obviously straight away looking at things and thinking, oh, I could keep that. I could use that. Yeah. I mean, on Saturday, I went to the dump with my son. He had cleared out some of our garage the week before, which in fairness, obviously was mainly his tools and things like that from work, you know, because he comes in from work and he just dumps all his stuff in there. But when we got to the dump, there was loads of my stuff there. You know, things that like, oh, I don't know, when we've, say, gone anywhere in the car and I need to just empty my car boot and things, you know, then I've dumped stuff off in the garage. So there was loads of my stuff in there. And I was like, oh, this, you know, I can't be dumping this. Or like, say, when we've been to the beach, you know, and I might have then like, you know, a pair of flip-flops or, you know, something like that. They're all in the boot. So again, you know, they've all just been emptied out. And then they're all in the garage, forgotten that they were there. So, of course, what happened was I saw them as soon as we got to the dump. And, of course, then I didn't want to part with them. So I then found myself bringing half of it back, which, of course, then, you know, I didn't want to put back in the garage because I didn't want to, obviously, make the garage, you know, more messy. So, yeah, it's all in the boot of my car now. Oh, honestly. You know, so, yeah, I'm better if I just don't even see things, because as soon as I see things, you know, which is partly why, again, I'm better off not being the person doing the car boot sale, because, you know, what happens is I then don't want to part with things. You know, I start then thinking, oh, well, perhaps I could keep that. Oh, perhaps I could use that for this, or, you know. So my son's much better doing it. Actually, to be honest, it would be better if he even packed it and everything, and I didn't even see what was going there. Because it's once I see it, you know, I struggle then to part with it. So we'll see. Anyway, we will see. But yeah, lots of clearing up is required at the moment. And, you know, to be honest, I mean, I said about it to my mum, and I said, you know, the thing is, although I don't, you know, find it easy to part with things, you know, because I think, oh, what a waste, you know, that cost a lot of money. I might have only worn things a couple of times, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, in fairness, oh, I really just want that sort of relief feeling, you know, when you've kind of cleared out a space in your wardrobe and you think, oh, wow, you know, don't I feel better for not having all that rubbish all in there? You know, stuff that I've not worn for like, I don't know, 5 years or however long, you know. So, yeah, I need to take that attitude and just get rid of things. So we will see. I will let you know next week. Probably won't even happen. Probably won't even do a car boot sale. So yeah, anyway, and my middle son, he's home today from school, and he was doing his mock exams last week. So yeah, he's having the day off today. You know, they've got the day off today. So he's home from school, and yeah, I did just volunteer to pay him some money for, you know, doing a few jobs. So yeah, kind of chucking the hoover around and, you know, polishing and things, because I just haven't really had time to do any of it. So yeah, I said, oh, you know, would you like to earn yourself some money today? Would you mind doing, I mean, I've got like my second wash load in today. So I said, you know, maybe put like the washing out in the garden and things like that when it finishes, you know, all these things that would just save me a job. So yeah, he's going to do all of those kinds of things. So that's very kind of him and very helpful. So, you know, because then obviously I can then be working, whereas otherwise if I'm doing those things, then I'm not working. So yeah, he's very helpful like that. And then yeah, hopefully then when I get the rest of that paint, you know, can finish the bathroom, get everywhere cleared up from the bathroom, and then start somewhere else. So it will feel like progress is being made. Progress or more mess, I'm not sure which, but yeah, one or the other. Right, let's just check this out. Okay, right. So get glue in my pockets together. Yeah, the weather's been so lovely here. I mean, you know, in fairness, we're about to go into April, aren't we? I mean, again, I just cannot believe how much this year is flying by already. I mean, I say it all the time, but honestly, it just never fails to amaze me how fast the time flies. I mean, it seems like just literally the other day that we were saying it was Christmas and then it was New Year. And now look, you know, we're about to go into April. I mean, it's flabbergasting, but yeah, so we're about to go into April. You know, so I mean, obviously, actually, it's getting later in the year, isn't it? But it just feels like, wow, you know, the weather's gorgeous. It's hotting up for spring already. Obviously, in reality, you know, well, it would be because it is actually coming to spring. But yeah, it feels like, wow, I can't believe we're here already, you know, weather-wise. So yeah, the weather's been gorgeous, and actually I'm just going to sit on these, you know, whilst I'm gluing them down, so that hopefully they're just really squashing down. Yeah, so the weather's been really gorgeous, and yeah, yesterday was Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to anybody who is a mother. So that's Mother's Day here in the UK. I know that in the States it's another time, and I can't remember when, I'm afraid. But yeah, I don't know obviously when it would be in other places around the world, but anybody whose Mother's Day it was yesterday, happy Mother's Day to you guys. So had a lovely day yesterday. Just spent the day obviously just, you know, me and the children, and then obviously we went to see my mum as well, you know, for my mum's Mother's Day too. And we also had a lovely walk on the beach. So that was really, really nice. And like I say, the weather was gorgeous. So that just made it, you know, extra lovely. What else did we do? We went for a lovely coffee in this gorgeous outside cafe. Can't remember whether I've mentioned the outside cafe or not before, but yeah, it's this ingenious, amazing cafe place. It's just lovely, and it was such gorgeous weather that we actually sat sort of in a sunny spot, just soaking in the sun for about 40 minutes. So that was absolutely lovely. Yeah, so that was yesterday, and then we went for a lovely walk on the beach. That was gorgeous. What else did we do? On Saturday, yeah, Saturday was spent obviously going to the dump, and I'd done a couple of videos in the morning, and then did some more clearing of the garden, of the leaves and things. So I've actually got more things to go to the dump now, because more bags of leaves and things. So yeah, I probably won't get a chance to do that now until next weekend. So, but we'll see. We will see. Hopefully, I mean, if the dump was open a bit later, I would be able to take it in the evenings. But unfortunately, they close at 4 o'clock. So I'm hoping they're going to change to like summer hours soon. Because, I mean, 4 o'clock's not really helpful to anybody, is it? But, yeah, get rid of all the leaves and the, you know, the debris from the garden. Okay. Yeah, but really lovely weekend anyway. Okay. Yeah, so my son paid for our coffees and everything yesterday on the, you know, at the outdoor cafe. That was his treat for Mother's Day, which was so kind of him and lovely. So, yeah, that was really, really nice. And then my other son, he had bought me some headphones for going to the gym. You know, some like wireless headphones. And also he put some money in the car for petrol, which I don't know if... again, if you live in the UK, I don't know whether this is everywhere or whether this is just the UK at the moment, but oh my goodness, I mean, the price of petrol and, you know, diesel and things, oh my goodness, it's just gone absolutely crazy. And literally it feels like every time that you put any petrol or diesel in the car, it's gone up by about another £5 or £6. It's just literally crazy amounts. So yeah, he put some money in my car for petrol, which was really nice of him too. So yeah, I felt really spoiled yesterday, so that was really kind of him, and really kind of my middle son as well, who you know, paid for everyone's coffees. So that was really nice. And my daughter, she had made me a card at school as well, which was really lovely. So and wrote some lovely kind words in it, so that was really nice. And like I say, the sun was shining, so to be honest, it doesn't really get much better than that, does it? So yeah, I mean, it's very worrying. Everything's getting super expensive, and you know, I mean, I think that's, I think that is everywhere in the globe. I mean, obviously the situation in Ukraine, which is, you know, terrible anyway, but is obviously having, you know, huge impacts on the cost of everything. And yeah, things are just, well, getting out of hand, really, to be honest. You know, it's just frightening, to be honest, you know, where things are going to end up. But yeah, I mean, obviously petrol is one of those examples that you know, is just literally like ludicrously expensive. And I mean, as for heating and the, you know, the gas and all that, well, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I think probably the less said about that, the better for the moment, because I just don't want to think about that at all. But anyway, so yeah, everything's going up generally, and I'm sure, you know, I'm not alone in feeling quite scared, really, for how things are going. It's getting very worrying, but you know, that just seems to be how it is. And yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping it's a temporary thing, you know, it's a glitch, and that we'll all, well, that things will go back down to normal prices eventually. But I don't know. Often things have a horrible way of hitting a price and never actually lowering again, don't they? So, I mean, I don't know. I hope that this is a temporary thing. But yeah, time will tell. Anyway, let's not dwell on those miserable things. So, okay. I mean, on a more positive note, yep, isn't it gorgeous that it's spring? I mean, I know I talk about this quite often, but I just love the changing of the seasons. It's so nice, isn't it? And, you know, there just are things about all the seasons that I just absolutely love. So, I mean, actually, except for the clocks went forward an hour yesterday. Oh, I hate that day. It's so short, isn't it? And yeah, before you know it, the day's kind of finished. But yeah, that's you know, but on the plus side, that day's finished now, and you know, now it's lovely because now we've got those lighter evenings. So I think last night, I can't remember, maybe didn't get dark till about 7:30. I think it might have been about 7:30. So yeah, already it's making a difference, which is awesome. Right, now I'm just looking at the time. It's already like, I think 45 minutes. So yeah, I've got these four left to glue. So I will probably glue these later after the video, because I probably should get decorating one now. So that we, you know, have time to actually do one. Now, I bought along a flower fairy image. So these are some images from, for anyone who's bought my book page images recently. I'd put a second batch into my shop, and I think there's a few left. There might be about five left, I think, at the moment. But a lot of them contain some flower fairy images. So again, I must quickly put this out there. They are on a potluck basis, and so, you know, they don't necessarily have flower fairy images. Obviously, it just depends, you know, what images I was able to get, you know, because of course they're one-off, you know, they're one-off images, aren't they? They're, you know, they're from books, and obviously it's kind of like, you know, I might be able to get a certain book at a certain time and not at another time. So yeah, you won't necessarily get the flower fairy images, but lots of them did have. So I just thought, let's come along and do a pocket with the flower fairy images. So let me just grab in my, my blendy tool. Hold on. Oops. Sorry, it's just in my bag behind me from yesterday where I'd taken it downstairs. Oh, come on, come on. Sorry, it's now got something wound around it. Hold on. Oops. Okay. Right. Okay. And I just happened to have this lace in that bag, and I thought, oh, that's going to go quite well actually on there, isn't it? So let's just cut this down. Like that. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this in half. Again, probably will not make a very neat job of this, but I'm not going to stress too much about it. Okay, like that. Oh, how pretty does that look? I might just have that kind of like over, I think, to the side. Now I'm just wondering whether I want to have that as a square or whether to cut the, or tear the fairy out. Oh, I don't know now. Might cut the edge of this down slightly so it's slightly narrower. Oops, okay, yeah, that's quite pretty. Oh, I can't decide. Shall I tear this? Do you know, I'm just going to, yeah, just tear it down a bit. So. Best tear around that, because that looks very strange shape otherwise, doesn't it? Oh, how pretty does that look? And then we could just have this running down here. I made my mum's Mother's Day card. I did put this on Instagram, so if anyone follows me on Instagram, you may have seen it yesterday. I don't know. I'm terrible for, you know, forgetting to put things on Instagram. But yeah, I did put that on there. And yeah, I made my mum's Mother's Day card using these flower fairy images. Oh, it looked so pretty, and she absolutely loved it. And my mum's not, you know, she's not a crafter. She doesn't really get, you know, why we would be doing any of these things that we do. But she really, really loved it, to the point she was kind of like, oh, I don't like to actually open it. I just tied a ribbon around it. So it wasn't like particularly, you know, it wasn't like in an envelope or anything. But yeah, she was like, oh, it seems a shame to even open it. She really, really liked it. So yeah, it's on my Instagram anyway, if anyone wanted to see it. Because it was just, yeah, just a fun, different card really, to make. So yeah, I quite like how that looks, to be honest. Sometimes it's nice to just have totally different, you know, colours and things like that, isn't it? So, right, let's glue this down first. Oh, I probably should have inked this, shouldn't I, really, around the edge, but I didn't really give it any thought first. Obviously, by then I had already put the glue down all over it, so, yeah. Oh, well, just go in like that. And then let's just glue my lace down on the edge like that. Okay. Oh, and thank you so much to everyone who sent their lovely well wishes and prayers for little baby Vincent. So that was my nephew's first baby, you know, him and his girlfriend, they had their first baby, and he's in like you know, special baby unit at the moment because he's got to have like heart surgery, poor little thing. Anyway, touch wood, he is doing well. Obviously, I talked about this last week. They need to build his kind of weight up and his strength up and things for him to be able to have the procedure because, of course, he's, you know, he's just a little diddy, you know, baby at the moment. So, yeah, he will be having that procedure, but, you know, not until his weight, I assume, needs to get to a certain, you know, certain level or something. You know, or I don't know whether it's done on weight. Maybe it's done on, I don't know. So at the moment, he's still in that little incubator because, of course, you know, and I talked about this before, he can't actually, you know, breathe on his own. But yeah, they've sent us lots of pictures of him because, you know, people aren't allowed to go and visit him or anything like that. You know, I don't know whether that's an incubator issue, you know, the special care baby issue, or whether that's a COVID issue. I'm actually not too sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think my sister, whose son it is, she has managed to go and see him. So, yeah, I'm not sure. But generally, people aren't able to go and see him anyway. She wasn't able to hold him, obviously, because he's, you know, he's just in that incubator. But, yeah, she has at least seen him. So, that, you know, that's really, really nice because she loves babies. So yeah, I'm sure she was really thrilled to be able to kind of see him, and yeah, I bet she can't wait to actually give him a cuddle and things. So, oh, and he does look cute, I have to say. Yeah, very, very cute. So yeah, I might just put these flowers on here. So just kind of layer them up, I think. So like this. Oh, and thank you so much to everyone who bought the circles in my circle launch. So, yeah, I hope that you're having lots of fun using them. Yeah, they're just, you know, again, just something fun to play with. You know, I just love having lots of different sort of bits and pieces, you know, and especially that you can then make little embellishments with, you know, just small, quick things, you know, that just makes it really... fun, doesn't it? So I'm just going to stick this little piece of doily down here. So this is some vintage doily, which actually now I'm thinking, am I sticking that upside down on the wrong way? So we'll put that like that, and yeah, I'm just going to put this flower in there like that, and then this, I think, just over there. And this, funnily enough, actually, I've just realised has got one of those circles actually in the middle of this. But yeah, it's just kind of picking up. There's a bit of kind of a yellowy look there. So I thought actually that circle with that bit of yellow looks quite pretty on there, doesn't it? Okay, now do we want any other flowers? Let's check. This I think is a bit too limey. Actually, it doesn't look too bad, weirdly enough. I thought it was going to look terrible. It actually doesn't look as bad as I expected. I know, I mean, that's not really the winning thing, is it? Oh, it doesn't look as bad as I expected. I mean, really, you know, you want to kind of aim a bit higher than that, don't you? And actually have something that looks nice, but yeah. Rather than just, oh, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's so clever what they can do, isn't it, in, you know, in hospitals and all of that now. I just, you know, think, wow. I mean, it's so lucky, you know, or we're so lucky now, aren't we, that, you know, we're now born in this generation where hospitals and, you know, medical advances have been made, that all these things can even take place. I mean, obviously years ago, I mean, they wouldn't have known he had that heart, you know, defect. You know, they wouldn't have picked it up until he was born. And, you know, obviously that probably, I guess, would have been too late, you know, to do anything, even if they had equipment to do anything. Instead, I mean, they were able to pick that up at the scan. He was therefore delivered, you know, at a hospital with like special baby care stuff, you know, whatever it is that they need, you know, the things, the equipment that they needed. So he was in the right place to get the right care from, you know, the second that he was born, which, I mean, how amazing is that? And how lucky are we, you know, to live in a day and age where they've got that. Now, I just suddenly spotted these flowers. These are just some of my fussy cut flowers from the English country garden. But yeah, I just thought, oh, colour wise, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to pop this one down. Yeah, we're so lucky, aren't we? And, you know, I mean, obviously years ago, you know, anything like that, and it would have just been, you know, there would have been no hope, would there? So, you know, we're very, very lucky. And, yeah, we must kind of always, I guess, remember that, you know, how lucky that we are. Thinking the yellow flowers just there, and that just kind of breaks that up a bit, doesn't it? Just checking that I wouldn't prefer them down here, but quite like them either place actually. Just, oops. Let me just see. Oh, I think I've got some more. Hold on. Oh, these are a bit bigger, I think. Oh, yeah, much bigger. I think I've, yeah, got some small size and some bigger size, but these I think are going to be too monstrous, but well, they're not too bad, but oh, they are a little bit on the big side. Let's just see. Oh yeah, because then they're just covering up that flower altogether. Oh, I'm going to just have these at the bottom, so let's just put them down there. Okay, like that. Oh, how gorgeous do they look? So pretty. So the only thing I think really I want is something for the centre of these flowers, which, oh, what shall I put in the centres? Just having a quick look around to see what I've got floating about. I mean, I could use buttons, I suppose, but oh, I've just got these gems. Oh, that's quite pretty in there, isn't it? Oh, come on. I've got some other colour pearls, but they're not close to my desk. So, yeah, I'm just improvising, really, going with what I've got. Oh, I have got this gem rather than a pearl. I'm not saying that that's necessarily great, but oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm now just dropping everything everywhere. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. I just said, didn't I didn't want to stop my video, and now look. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, so sorry about that. Right, let me just glue these on. So actually, I've got to confess, whilst I stopped the video, I did then go and see if I could find my other pearls, but actually, as it happens, I couldn't find them. So yeah, I'm just going to go with these instead. Hold on a second. Honestly, that was so typical, because I thought, oh, I didn't want to stop the video, because then you have to edit it and join it together. And it just, you know, it just makes the upload time take longer than it needs to. Oops, sorry, just flicked that wipe around. It just makes it take longer. And yeah, I was trying to be so good and not stop the video at all and just do it in one, you know, one sort of long run. And then, of course, the phone rang. So I do apologise for that. Okay. I'm just trying this out. I'm not necessarily saying this will look good, but I spotted this while I was gone. Oh, that's so pretty down there. Yeah, so I thought, oh, I'll just try this. And actually it does look pretty, doesn't it? So, yeah. Okay. Oh, how gorgeous does that look? Now, I've got to confess that I don't often tend to decorate the back. I know I've talked about this before, but I have this weird thing about, well, that's the back. You know, you don't decorate the back. A bit like when I sunbathe, for some reason, I don't then sunbathe on the back. So, you know, I might have brown legs at the front and completely white at the back. But, you know, if I can't see it, I don't worry about it. So that's a bit how I feel about these, to be honest. I often don't decorate the back. And the other thing is, obviously, when they're clipped into a journal, you know, you want your pocket clipping in. So if you paper clipped it in, for instance, here, let me just find a paper clip. Oh, which again, I mean, I had a ton of paper clips here. Oh, here we go. Hold on. So if you were to paper clip this into a journal, you could clip this then here. Oops. Clip that there, like that. And of course it's smooth and clean to, you know, to clip on. If obviously you made your back, you know, decorated and bumpy like the front, then that's not really going to be all that great for, you know, paper clipping it in. So at best, if I were to decorate the back, I would decorate it, you know, quite flat, if you see what I mean. So that, you know, when I then clipped it in, it would still clip in on a flat, you know, flat way. But yeah, I mean, I won't bother decorating the back, to be honest. But yeah, so you could then have this. Now, let me see. Oh, I don't think I've got a journal now to be able to show you. Hold on a second. Oh, it's rapidly turning into one of those videos. Right, I've got a completed journal, which I'm going to hopefully do a flip through of soon. Now, obviously, this is not the right colour for this journal at all. But just to give you an idea how this would look, you would obviously have this and you could then paper clip this onto a page. And then, of course, you could move this around in the journal, you know, to where you want it to go. So how gorgeous is that? It just looks so pretty, doesn't it? And yeah, how many did we make? Because we always like to count, don't we? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I've got a couple here left to fold, so, or glue, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15-ish, but 4 of those I have still got to glue. So pretty good going, I think. So yeah, I mean, I just really hope that you like them. I think, you know, they're just a super lovely addition, aren't they? And I mean, how pretty does that one look with the flower fairy? So yeah, obviously, if you wanted to have a look and see if I've got any book page bundles left, then they're in my shop. Obviously the papers, I've, you know, said all the names of the papers and things like that. And yeah, I hope that you have fun. Like I say, you do not have to use digitals for this. You can use, you know, anything that you like, scrapbook papers or even book page, depending on the thickness of it. So hope you have fun making some floating pockets. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic week and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much then. Bye.